Hello.
Hello, David.
Actually, this is Nick Wozniak, another guy over at Yacht Club. Uh,
Oh, Nick, pleasure to meet you.
yeah, no problem. David was the one you were talking to, so sorry about that. Confused.
Thanks for taking the time anyway to speak to us.
Yeah, of course.
Let's see, a bit off balance now. Art designer, am I correct?
What's that? Yeah, I do the pixel art for the game. So that's what I do mostly, and then I also do all kinds of other stuff. There's like businessy stuff that I also take care of.
So what's it like at Yacht Club right now with all the excitement and the huge success?
Well, it's kind of busy actually. Actually, this is also Sean. He also is walking in. He does
Hello.
design and direction for the game.
Hi, I'm Sean.
Hi, Sean.
Yeah, so it's all really weird right now. There's like with the release of a game, there's a lot of emails to do and a lot of just like talking to press like you guys and then talking to just like Nintendo and just making sure things are okay in the shops and getting the build all squared away with patches and stuff and
Like making a trailer with quotes about how cool everyone's setting
that's the fun part.
Yeah.
Does the massive success so far of Shovel Knight surprise you at all?
Yeah, it's been totally overwhelming. I mean, we did the Kickstarter and it was tremendously successful, and that was that was its own level of huge. But to have the game come out and to get this kind of response has just been like completely overwhelming in every way. Like from a logistical standpoint and also like from an emotional standpoint, you know.
Yeah, and it is a surprise for sure. I think that we had an idea for what like people would be into it, but we didn't think that it would be as just well received overall as it has been.
Just the love and the fervor that some people have had, and some of the like the love letters or the emails that we've received. It's just been, it's been totally overwhelming.
Yeah, for sure.
So the original Kickstarter goal was 75,000. You smashed through to 300,000.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on Kickstarter and how they've allowed you to create this great game?
Well, I mean, we're obviously really positive for it. We're really sweet on Kickstarter for allowing us to be able to get so far with just basically a pitch to the public.
Yeah, and I mean not just with the money, right? Like the funding, that avenue has been. It was definitely the right choice for this project. But then on top of that, also just like the amazing community support that we received both during the Kickstarter and after the Kickstarter ended. It was like by having that game in the popular consciousness just a little bit from the beginning, it really changed the production a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's been a wave of indie retro games lately. We've seen them come to PS4, Xbox, Nintendo, all platforms. But Shovel Knight doesn't seem like it's a redone retro game. It seems like it belongs back in the era of the NES.
Yeah, that's
what kind of influence brought you there?
Well, yeah, that was definitely one of the stated goals from the beginning of the game, is to make sure the game felt less like a throwback and less like an homage to a certain set of games or a certain game, and just make it feel like it actually belonged in that era, and like you could have played Shovel Knight right after finishing Mega Man 2 for the first time or whatever.
Right. I mean, we tried to apply kind of new design principles and a lot of ideas that we had and that had been developed just gameplay-wise over the last 30 years. But we very purposefully tried to avoid doing anything that was like tongue-in-cheek or referential. There's nothing like mimetic in Shovel Knight in the sense that like we don't have characters that are spouting dialogue from other classic games.
Yeah, nobody says "I am error" or whatever.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's doing a parody game like that is all well and good, but for Shovel Knight, we really wanted to keep it out of that, just kind of out of that realm altogether. So we really tried to differentiate it and make it like its own thing that could stand next to a Mega Man or a Mario, and the illustrated art is like similar, right? Like you have the illustrated Mario, and then you have like the pixel Mario, the same way you have like illustrated Mega Man and illustrated Shovel Knight, and then the pixel version. You kind of like extrapolate between them. It's like all the branding and all of the like just the feel of an NES game. Like we were trying to hit like every part of it, even beyond just the main game.
How hard was it to differentiate yourself from them games? You know, not to be compared to those, and obviously you are going to be, but the accomplishment of making Shovel Knight seem like its own game and not just a copy. Was that difficult?
Yeah, a little bit. It's hard to like kind of find your niche, but what we did is just make sure that we didn't directly copy anything, and we made sure that the games we were thinking about were just all in a swirl in our brains.
Yeah, I mean, we tried not to have too many things that were like directly references, and we tried to maybe take some of the elements from those games as a starting point, but then work off of it to change it into something new, something different, maybe something a little bit more fresh, at least in our opinion. So just to make it, to set it apart, right, to differentiate it a little bit. We had a lot of people say, well, when they play it, they say, oh, yeah, I'm getting hints of Castlevania, I'm getting hints of DuckTales, hints of Zelda, I'm getting hints of, like, all this. And that's great. I mean, that's awesome that we're bringing back memories for older gamers like that. But, we want Shovel Knight also to stand on its own. We want kids to be able to play it that don't have nostalgia for those kinds of games. So it was important to us to make it its own thing.
Yeah, and, constantly putting it under that lens of looking at modern lessons that have been learned in the past 30 years and making sure that anything that we're thinking about actually fits with those and not just and we aren't doing anything just because it was done in the Nintendo era.
Right.
We're not just we don't do a map just because games did maps. We do a map because it's a good way to tie the world together and make the world feel more fleshed out, and that's a good way to have a break between levels. And so making sure that we are actually doing things for the right reason as opposed to just because they were done before.
Yeah, I think that's what bothers a lot of people, the fact that it became very cool to be indie a while back, and I think a lot jumped on the bandwagon and pushed out a couple of games, but Shovel Knight isn't that. It is its own game, and it's game of the year in a lot of people's eyes.
Well, that's really good to hear. Yeah. I'm glad you feel that way. It's definitely how we feel.
I read an article by David Angelo. It was called Breaking the NES. Have you guys read it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he wrote that. We kind of edited it for him.
We helped to write it.
Yeah, we helped writing it. But all the color section, actually, I was able to help out with. So.
Yeah. Years ago, you wouldn't have been able to create this kind of game on the NES. So with the future now, what you can do on the likes of the Wii U, how does that help?
Well, immensely.
It let us make. I mean, if we were trying to make a real NES game, there's just so many limitations, right? But it's like by having the game on the Wii U and the 3DS and on PC, it just took those restrictions away. So instead of making a real NES game, we could make an NES style game that reminded you of everything you love about the NES, but it's not exactly an NES game. It's like
right.
if you put it side by side, it could never run. We do things that are way outside of the capabilities. And I mean, it also goes towards all of our online stuff, right? Like the Miiverse and the Street Pass. Those are features that those were great, cool features that we wouldn't have been able to do back in those days. I mean, widescreen presentation,
right.
Parallax scrolling. I guess the sound could have been done in the NES days.
Yeah, the sound was very authentic.
Yeah, but when sound effects play, the sound channels never drop out.
Right.
So it's like that is not true to like other NES.
Yeah, working with the Wii U, we didn't have to feel shackled to the system at all. So the Wii U can handle doing a lot more than just Shovel Knight. So we were able to kind of live in that space a little bit. And there was some other things though that were a little bit harder because the Wii U is not made to be a system that does pixel games. It does 3D games, and so in order to get things like the palette cycling working, we had to actually write a shader for that. And there's just some challenges that came by doing an NES-style game uniquely on the Wii U, but or on PC.
Yeah, like modern day physics systems don't really accommodate very well for precise 2D gameplay. It's more based on like real physics interactions.
And capsule.
Right, yeah, capsules instead of boxes for collision. And so, I mean, that if we were to just go with something like that, it would be really super mushy. So it's like we had to retrofit a decent amount of our content, or not our content, but our technology to accommodate for the type of content that we were developing.
Yeah.
So I believe, Sean, yourself at one stage said that you'd really, really like to go into a 3D platformer type of game.
Yeah.
Will Shovel Knight go 3D?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Definitely something that we talk about sometimes. For the most part, for the next year or so, we're working on, getting it localized, getting it into Europe and into Japan and Australia, and then we're also, it's not going to take a whole year, but the rest of that year is going to be filled up with doing stretch goal content from the Kickstarter. So we made, like you said, we made a bunch of money over our goal, and so with that came a bunch of extra stretch goals, like playable boss nights, we were able to play as 3 of the boss.
4-player battle mode.
Yeah, the battle mode with multiplayer on the Wii U and PC, and
right, like a gender swap mode, a challenge mode. Like there's a lot of content coming down the line. It's all going to be free, and it's all going to be just like an update. So you should start your Shovel Knight game, and then it should just say, hey, an update's available, and you automatically get it. And now you're playing as a new character, or you have a new mode, just kind of to keep the fires stoked and to keep the Shovel Knight excitement continued.
Yeah, absolutely. I think everyone's looking forward to it.
And we haven't even thought about like sequels yet, but yeah, a 3D Shovel Knight would be
cool
fun.
As hell.
Yeah, it'd be really fun.
I'd love to do a 3D platformer. Yeah, that'd be way cool.
So this is we know a debut game from Yacht Club, but a lot of people might not know you guys were around a long time before Yacht Club.
Yeah, we've been doing stuff previously at a company called Way Forward, and Way Forward does a lot of licensed titles, from big ones in terms of just like big name license titles, like we did a Batman title or whatever.
Yeah, they do like
smaller
Batman,
ones.
SpongeBob,
right.
Dora the Explorer,
Smurfs
the movie, stuff like that.
And we also worked on games like Double Dragon Neon and Blood Ring Betrayal, so those are also licensed titles, but they were a little bit, smaller focus teams.
Contra, I worked on Contra 4.
Boy and His Blob.
Boy and His Blob for the Wii.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, it was a combination. It was almost all licensed stuff with an occasional original title in between. But that's where...
Is that what made you kind of want to step away and do your own thing, that you wanted to bring an original title out?
Yeah, definitely.
That was a big part of it. I mean, we wanted to control our own destiny, in terms of the games we were making, in terms of the ways that we were presenting them to the public, the way that we marketed them, the way that we made cool products for them, and just being able to interact with people. When you work on a game, a licensed game, a lot of times you're not allowed to go into a Twitch stream and start talking to people about the development, because that's not, you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, the publisher wants to be in control of the message, and so they limit your involvement.
Yeah.
I think if you pitched Shovel Knight to a publisher, with the title Shovel Knight, a 2D side-scroller, is that ever going to get a green flag to go ahead, or do you need stuff like Kickstarter to help these games?
I don't know. Like, it would be hard to say that a publisher would jump on that bandwagon, especially with the climate that it is right now.
Maybe now.
Maybe now that we've done it.
Yeah, when that came out, it's like if you tried to pitch an 8-bit platformer to another company, maybe they'd be more likely because they see that the game could be.
Yeah, with Nintendo pushing it. With Nintendo pushing it as hard as they did, that would be interesting now. But before, it'd be hard to say.
It's always a tough sell. And even if, like, let's say it's like, oh man, we got to do this right now, right? We got to strike while the iron is hot. In 2013, we got to make a Shovel Knight game. Like let's do it. Well, with the traditional publisher model, you might be stuck in approvals and green light meetings, and the next quarter and all this stuff, and it could be 6 months or a year, or like it could be forever until the game, even if a publisher did show interest, until it was greenlit and you actually started working on it. So that the inability to be quick and agile about everything makes it really tough, to be like, I guess just to be fast about it, to be smart in that way.
So as far as coming to Europe and Japan and Australia, I don't think everyone understands that it's more or less out of your hands now. It has to be sent off and rated and tested and things like this.
Right. Yeah.
Do we have any kind of time frame when we'll see it in Europe?
Well, like we said, we we actually put up a blog post about that today or yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, yesterday I read through it briefly.
Yeah, and so it kind of breaks down that process and shows off, which aspects are external to us, and you see a lot of those are actually just external roadblocks for us, and so we're trying to make sure that we can get through those as fast as possible, working with those teams to make it streamlined. But yeah, there's not really a timeline that we can give just because it's outside of our control, And they
Yeah.
as long as they need to, because like we said in the article, we're not the only game in the world. There's a lot of other games out there that need localization and certification and ratings and stuff. So all we know is that it's coming, like it's in process.
I mean, it's our number one priority right now, is getting the Wii U and 3DS versions out, in the EU. And I mean, we're really upset that this even had to happen in the first place. We wanted to have the game, really all versions of it out all at the same time. But the plan that we laid out is the best that we could do as a small team.
Yeah.
So, thank you for your patience, everyone in the EU. We will Shovel Knight will be arriving at your doorstep, and it will be translated into your language, specifically, which is something that was really important to us.
Yeah, beyond the actual, like, the requirements for getting into EU is English, French, Italian, German, and Spanish. And beyond that, we're looking at other languages that we can add in later.
Well, you don't have to localize for the EU. It could be all English.
So we can?
Yeah, we could just say we're not doing that.
Okay.
We're not localizing it. We chose to localize in those languages so we could put it out, so we could make Shovel Knight feel at home everywhere. But in addition to those additional 5 languages.
Yeah, like we've been talking to people who do Polish translation and who do,
Brazilian Portuguese.
Brazilian Portuguese is big ones, of Dutch. Like they're all pretty big deals for us to make sure that when you play Shovel Knight, you're playing it in your own language, so that it feels like it's your own, so that you don't have to think about the disconnect between you and the game at any time. Yeah, that's really important to us, and we're going to try to make sure that the worldwide release feels as strong as possible.
Will we see it come to a PlayStation and Xbox?
We're looking at other platforms as well. I mean, it's the same process of, we're doing the localization and all that right now for the worldwide release. We're also going to be looking at other platforms after that, along with all that stretch goal content. So we have a lot to do over the next year.
We've heard everyone.
Yeah.
We know that people want to see Shovel Knight on other platforms.
Absolutely.
And that's something that we're absolutely looking into.
Yeah, and I want to see it on other platforms too. I'd love to be able to play it with with PlayStation or on Vita or something, and that'd be really exciting for us as a team. So it's definitely something we believe in, and we can see ourselves doing in the future.
I read a lot that Nintendo and Steam, but more so Nintendo, offered huge support in getting this game out, and also putting a physical presence in a lot of stores in America.
Yeah, the Nintendo World Store in New York is it's the only Nintendo official store that's there. It's in the world that I know of, and they have a playable Shovel Knight. Yeah, and there's a stand where you can play Shovel Knight, and there's a big like cardboard cutout of Shovel Knight running towards you and stuff. And yeah, so there's like that presence there. There was also, we gave away some manuals to the game, the physical manuals that were going to be Kickstarter rewards send out soon.
Well, we're hoping. Right now, Shovel Knight is only in the Nintendo World Store in the United States. And what we want is for Shovel Knight to be available in every store in the United States, like every retail store, and internationally, So we'd like to see Shovel Knight, like cards or, a physical release somewhere down the line would be really great.
Yeah.
But yeah, being in a real location would be fantastic. And really the more of a presence we can have there, the better. But Nintendo was very, very helpful and very forthcoming with everything. It was really, really great to work with them. They just were helpful and just went above and beyond every step of the way.
Yeah, they really felt a part of our marketing efforts, so that was really great. Thanks Nintendo. They're great.
Their help in the eShop was amazing. They've taken us. We've gone to PAX and E3 and, maybe to more places in the future to demonstrate the game and to show it off. And, that's the type of thing that we would also like to do in Europe when the EU release is rolling around. So, it would be cool if we could be attending some places and showing the game off in person.
Right.
I think another company that helped you guys out was Koopa Soundworks. Tell us exactly how they helped you.
So yeah, Koopa Soundworks is what the company used to be called. Now they're called Bravewave. And during our Kickstarter campaign, the guy who's in charge of that, his name is Mohammed Taher, and he got in contact with us because he wanted to uniquely support the game. His idea was that he had been working with a bunch of, chiptune artists from the NES era to make an album. And one of them was Monami Matsumai. She's the original sound designer and composer for Mega Man 1, as well as a bunch of other games. And he said, let's make this happen. Let's make some songs. Let's have her do some songs for you guys. And so we were totally skeptical at first. It seemed like a scam email. Like it was too good to be true. To like, hey, I have this legend of sound design in my employee or as a contact, and I want her to do stuff for you. And so we were really surprised and hesitant, but eventually we saw that it was real and like actually it was going to happen. And eventually she wrote a couple songs for Shovel Knight. So that was really cool.
Yeah, we had no idea. I mean, when we started the Kickstarter, there was no, we hadn't been contacted or anything. Mm-hmm. So it was really a surprise out of the blue, but it was awesome.
Yeah, that was really, really cool. That was just a extremely pleasant surprise that just fell into our laps, and we took full advantage of it.
If you look back to when this was all just an idea, when it first got kickstarted, and you see where you are today in such a short time, how proud are you of Shovel Knight, of how big it is right now?
Oh, immensely proud. It's overwhelmingly positive and just been received really well, and people are having a really strong and personal connection to the game. And that's not something I've ever experienced on a game before. It's never something that I have. We've done some games where like people enjoyed it and had fun, and we'd go into the live streams and watch them play, and they enjoyed it, but never.
Not on this scale.
Not on this scale, and not to this degree, for sure.
Yeah.
I think as soon as anyone finishes Shovel Knight, what they want straight away is more. They want the content that you guys are working on. They want Shovel Knight 2. They want more Shovel Knight.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely the case. We've seen a lot. It's just like, a couple of reviews have said it's this and this and this is really great, and the only con I can think of is that there's not more of it.
More,
Yeah, but it ends is the resounding negative comment we get.
that seems to be the only problem, that the game does end. It's from start to finish. I finished it in one sit through. I just couldn't step away from it.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we're looking at the future content. How long is it going to be supported? Do you think it's going to be over a year and a half?
Well, I mean, we have the goals set forth already, so we know what we're going to do. These playable characters, the challenge mode, the gender swap, the battle mode, and there are 3 playable characters, and that's a pretty enormous amount of content. We were originally when we were thinking Shovel Knight was going to come out in the beginning of this year, we were thinking all of 2014 we would be supporting Shovel Knight, and then battle mode would come out around Christmas time. Now, because Shovel Knight has been since our version. The United States version came out on June 26th, and the EU version hasn't even come out yet. Obviously, we're a little bit behind. So I can't exactly say how long it's going to take to do all the stretch goals.
Yeah, we haven't even really sat down to scope it all out, so it's hard to say what the actual end date and goal for the game is. But
under a year, for sure. Definitely less than a year of development time to make all the rest of this stuff, and we plan on getting those updates out more often than that. So it's even though all of the content will take a year, you may see 3 updates, so the wait isn't quite so long.
Right.
Is there pressure now to get this stuff out? Not so much to get out quickly, but because the game is so good, are people going to expect this kind of standard in the future from Yacht Club?
Yeah, well, probably. I mean, that's scary. Right?
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because this game is really, really well received.
I mean, that's amazing, but wow, it really does put a lot of pressure on us.
Yeah, can our content be in 9.0 like the rest of the game?
I mean, yeah, I guess I don't feel pressure to get it done quickly. I just feel pressure for it to be good.
Right.
And that's the kind of pressure, but like that's the kind of pressure that we already feel anyway. Right? Like we're like at the Yacht Club, what we were saying the other day is like we're all perfect, but it's not good enough.
We're never satisfied.
Yeah, like we're never satisfied with it, and it just keeps, we just keep iterating on things, we keep improving them, and so I think as long as we spend enough time on those, on the updates, and that we keep putting the same amount of like fun and energy into it that we did with the original like 1.0 version. I mean, I'm excited to get back to it because we haven't done any actual game development in like months.
Too long.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like we're in this weird release mode where most of what our day is just taken up by just typing emails.
Yeah, it's on the press junket is what actors do. It's like after the movie comes out, you go on the press junket and you fly around everywhere and you like give a similar speech about the movie in like a million places. And actors are like, I hate that part.
Yeah, maybe if this is not too bad because it's our first one.
No, are you kidding? It's amazing.
Yeah, I can definitely see this becoming like a tiresome part of the development where you get told,
right.
like after the 30th game that we've made, and it's like, okay, time for the press junket again.
Yeah, we love making games.
Yeah,
and so we're really excited to get back to that. I feel like once that update content starts, it's just going to be an explosion of energy, and we're going to come screaming out the gate with something pretty fun, or something that's like really over the top.
Would you guys consider doing perhaps DLC levels, extra levels after you get finished with the content update?
Nothing you pay for.
Yeah, I think anything that we would do as far as like making absolutely totally new content would probably just be rolled into another game.
Right, like Shovel Knight 2 would have that stuff.
Exactly, or wherever that energy that we're trying to expend would go. Either it would be a Shovel Knight 2 or Shovel Knight 64 or whatever
some
it
other
is,
game.
some other completely different game.
Yeah.
That's all just up to our future selves.
So I think it's safe to assume Shovel Knight is going nowhere.
Is
he here to stay?
It's here to stay forever.
Yeah. We don't.
So, Shovel Knight 64.
Maybe.
Yeah. Doing a 3D platformer would be so much fun. But who knows? Maybe by the time this stretch goal content is done in the next year, we'll be sick of Shovel Knight and we'll want to do something else.
Yeah.
Like I remember reading about the Mario team, and they're like, every time we finish a Mario, we swear that we're never going to do another one.
And that was for like Mario 2, right?
That was on Super Mario World.
Okay.
And so it was like, after 3, they said they'd never do another one, and then it's like World. What happens is after you step away from it for a little bit, developers start getting ideas and start having some ideas about, here's what the sequel could be, and then all of a sudden you have the excitement for it again, and you just go right back into it.
Or sometimes like 90% of the way through a game, you have a great idea for a feature that you want to add, but like there's not an appropriate time to add it at that point. So you just save that away in your like sequel box, and that sequel box just grows with features, and eventually it becomes too big to handle.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe after the content is done, we're like, oh my god, that was so much fun. Let's jump right into like NES style Shovel Knight 2, and it'll just be the same art style and everything. Like who knows? It could be that, or it could be like
that would be fantastic. Go do it.
Yeah. When Disney came out with Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, that was like it was a sensation.
Right.
Like everyone was blown away because it was like the first full color, awesome, full sound animated movie, and it had like it looked like real people, like real actors and actresses instead of like rubber hose cartoon characters.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean that after that came out, everyone was like clamoring for another Snow White, right? They're like, give us more dwarves, and that was followed up, I think, by like Pinocchio, which is like a very tonally different and like bizarre movie, and like it didn't do well. and then like another one. I think
was Peter Pan once?
no, I don't think so. That was later. Yeah, and another film came out, and it's like it took a while for it to hit its stride, you know, like to replicate that success of the original. But I guess I respect that they didn't just keep doing sequels of Snow White over and over again, you know.
Yeah.
Like they found their stride, eventually. But yeah, I don't know. It would be like
so maybe it'll take 80 years.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a string of really weird, bizarre games. We're like, oh, now that we made $infinity million from Shovel Knight, we'll spend the rest of the Yacht Club's like history just making like offbeat weird stuff that people don't like. That's so cool.
Was is 2D the 8-bit? Is that the style that you want to continue at for the foreseeable future? Obviously, the 3D thing is something you want to do, but is another 2D game more realistic at this stage?
With our team size, yeah, right now the way it is.
Yeah, we definitely have to bring more people on staff if we wanted to do a 3D game.
Yeah.
To develop the engine, to develop the art, just
workflow.
Everything. Yeah, everything.
Yeah, so all of that would just have to be expanded. The company would change a lot if we were to do that. But
yeah, one of the things that we want to do at the Yacht Club is we want to grow very slowly. Like we're half a dozen people, and we feel really confident and happy with the people that we have. And we feel like we can make great stuff if we all just like work together and collaborate. And so we're hoping that if we can add people, it's like one person a year, or like one or two people a year. So like we don't want to do some thing where we staff up and we hire, it's like, hey, we just hired 15 3D modelers and 3D programmers, and like we're going to really get kicking on Shovel Knight 3D.
Yeah, I doubt there'll ever be a Yacht Club job fair or something where you just like recruit a bunch of 20-year-olds from the college.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, even the idea of scaling up to do a game that large is like, it's a little scary to me. I would want to make sure that we preserve the feel and the way that we work. No matter what size we are. Mm-hmm. So that's like, I think that's one of the challenges that we're facing going forward, those growing pains.
So, sorry, a couple of things I've seen. Where do you get these Shovel Club t-shirts?
Oh.
Merchandise has been going everywhere.
There's a couple over on welovefine.com. Which is Mighty Fine's website, and there's I think 6 shirts over there, and we're working on merchandise right now in other places more than just t-shirts. Like you're going to be able to. We recently revealed Think Geek is doing a foam shovel for Shovel Knight, which is like it looks like those foam Minecraft shovel swords and pickaxes and tools. I don't know if you're familiar with those, but. It's a
cosplay shovel. It's like full size. Like you can pick it up and swing it around and hit your friend with it.
Yeah,
but don't
totally.
do that.
But it looks like a pixelated, like real life pixelated thing.
It's like the one that Shovel Knight carries around in the game.
Exactly.
Yeah, and we're making vinyl figures. So like a cool 3D Shovel Knight maybe could be in the future. We want to have a full on. Like the way that you would have an 80s style marketing and merchandising campaign, like we'd like to have some of that stuff for Shovel Knight. Like we like the idea of doing weird things like having a Shovel Knight cereal, or like having a Shovel Knight shampoo bottle where you screw the head off. Like the kind of weird goofy products that you would get back in those days.
Pajamas with Shovel Knight on them.
Right, Shovel Knight textiles, or like warmers. Shovel Knight theme. That would be awesome.
He's becoming quite a big mascot in the gaming community. People just can't get enough, even outside the game. They want, this merchandise and they just want more and more and more. Is that a testament to, the character behind the team? What you guys have brought to life?
I think so. Maybe it's also just like we like fun and silly characters that are cute and very relatable. So that's just like that's a formula for other people to jump on the wagon of.
Not a lot of people make character-based games anymore, and that's one of the things that we were talking about a lot during Shovel Knight. Is like the character's name is the name of the game. like the character, who it is like right up there on the box, and everything around it. It's like we're attempting to create a new franchise with a new like lovable character, and yeah, so it's really gratifying to see people respond to that, and they're like, oh yeah, we do want a mascot like how they had in the early '90s, right? Like there is room for like another Mario or another Sonic or like that type of character. Not to equate Shovel Knight to their fame on any level whatsoever. I'm just saying like that type of character.
Right.
That's just that's so much fun. That's really cool to me. Like I love when a game is character based and like kind of focuses on that.
It actually didn't occur to me that we were making a mascot character when we were making Shovel Knight, just because I was thinking of more of it just like it's a character game and you're just like having fun and you're meeting new people. But yeah, it feels like very much like that same vein of like those furry mascots from the 90s. This is our Bubsy.
So one thing a lot of people seem to bring it up is they want Shovel Knight in Smash Bros. They want Shovel Knight in other platforms. They want them everywhere. Yeah. Could we ever say that? Shovel Knight in Smash Bros?
I think we're the wrong people to ask for that. We really like. I would really like to see that. And if any time, Sakurai decides to call us, I would be more than happy to pick up that phone and tell him, absolutely.
Yeah. Could Shovel Knight take Mario?
I don't know.
Who would jump on who? That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, even as an assist trophy or something. Like, Dylan's Rolling Western is in there. Rayman is in there.
But Dylan's Rolling Western isn't it first party?
It's third party, but it was published by Nintendo.
Okay, so it's,
So, like, if we were published by Nintendo in Japan, then they could totally make an assist trophy for Smash Brothers, but it would be too late.
Yeah.
Maybe in the next Smash Brothers.
Okay.
Then that's the one that Shovel Knight could be in.
It'll take forever.
Yeah, who knows when that's going to be.
So I think I've gone through more or less everything I want to know personally. Is there anything that you want to say to the community that are following you guys so closely?
Yeah, the game's coming, or the game's out, and the rest of the game is coming. So
yeah,
like the next year, like I don't want to say 2 years Shovel Knight, but it pretty much is.
Yeah, I mean the EU versions for the Wii U and the 3DS are coming as soon as possible. We're going to be doing this updates with the stretch goal content, so look out for that. I mean, the game is available if you like. Should we plug our Twitters and our Facebooks and everything and all that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
If you want to follow us with more news and stuff, you can always watch our Twitter, which is at Yacht Club Games, and then if you want to go and buy the game, you actually get it on shovelknight.com or on Steam, or on if you have access to a North American 3DS or Wii U, you can get it on the eShops there. If you want to follow us, there's also my Twitter is at Norkwoz, NORKWOZ, and Sean's is. I'm
at ShawneyFaceYCG. That's at SeanYFaceyG.
Yeah, so we're all over the place. If you want to check out our website.
Did you say Twitch TV?
Oh yeah, we also have twitch.tv/Yacht Club Games.
We stream sometimes. We'll stream like working on the game, like Woz will stream himself pixel animating. Sometimes like Dandy did a programming session where he was programming one of the bosses.
That was pretty cool.
And then a lot of times we'll also just like play games and hang out. We'll play a lot of the games that have inspired us, like to just to be developers, and just kind of, I don't know, talk about things, talk about Shovel Knight, and hang out. So yeah, like I would say if you like Shovel Knight or if you're interested, get involved with all the stuff we're doing. We do a lot of posts on our website. We do a decent amount of streams, and we just like to blab endlessly. So
people will listen.
More ears.
Who controls the Shovel Knight Twitter? Who is Shovel Knight character? Because he's been outrageous the past couple of days.
Oh, the Twitter and Shovel Knight Twitter?
Yeah.
Good. That's telling the story.
Some of that is actually handled by a friend of ours, I won't reveal his identity because I think he hasn't revealed it, but
it's a secret.
It's a secret.
And when it started, it was also a secret. Like we did not know that Shovel Knight, like someone just made that Twitter, and it was someone that we knew, but we did not control it. And so we saw all these tweets going up, and we're like, oh my God, should we do something about this? And we're like, no, it's funny, this is good, let's just keep it. And so we got in contact with him, and we're like, yeah, as long as you don't do anything crazy, then you can totally man this Twitter. We think you're doing a great job.
Yeah. And he ran with it for so long, and he didn't reveal it to us. Like he was a mystery. Like we in the office, we were talking about like who's Shovel Knight.
Who is Shovel Knight?
So he really did take it on a life of its own.
It did, yeah. He was interacting with Fulgar a lot and like asking questions and like really like role playing as Shovel Knight, and that was really cool.
It was excellent. Yeah.
And eventually he met us at PAX, and he was wearing Shovel Knight's gear. Like he had cosplayed as Shovel Knight with like full football armor painted blue and a cardboard helmet and shovel, and he was like, I'm Shovel Knight 1.
It was an incredible surprise.
Yeah, it was really cool. And so since then we've actually been sharing the account, and so I do stuff and he's starting up again to do stuff. So it's been yeah.
It's everything. It's that type of thing is just what has happened on this project. People come out of the woodwork to support it, and everything that they do is awesome. I mean, the amount of Shovel Knight fan art, the amount of Shovel Knight videos and music, it's everything that's been created. It's like something about Shovel Knight has inspired so many people to jump in and do something creative on their own. I mean, that's like probably the most gratifying thing about this whole project is by making this game, there are people that are making new creative things. Or it's like, oh man, I love Shovel Knight's pixel art, and like, I haven't done any pixel art for a long time, but I pulled out my pixel program and I started mousing away at it. It's like, wow, that's so cool. Like it's just, if we had any impact like that, and if people were started making games like this, or were inspired in any way, I mean, that's just so great.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to be at Gamescom this year? I don't think you need to be because the world is so aware of Shovel Knight, but will you be making an appearance there?
We're thinking about it. It's definitely on our radar.
We're currently talking about that right now. I would say it's almost, I would say at least one person is almost guaranteed will appear at Gamescom. We want to try and hit every major convention in the world with at least one person, as we go probably for this year or for the next year period, just to push up.
Yeah.
So the gamble paid off. You left Wayward, came out, done this amazing game. It's taken incredible speed. I can only say I look forward to the future content and to the next game by Yacht Club.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty crazy gamble, but
it was a big risk, but I think it paid off.
It definitely was worth it. Yeah.
Okay, guys, thanks so much for taking the time to speak to us. I'll let you know when the video goes live, and I also need permission to put it live, if that's okay.
Oh yeah, you have permission at any time. We have a pretty open video policy. Here is the policy. Let me actually just go over to it right now. But yeah, you shouldn't worry about that.
Fantastic. I'll be sure to let you guys know as soon as it's up.
Great.
Awesome.
Thank you. Looking forward to it, John.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Well, thank you so much.
See you later.
Appreciate it.